Hey, welcome back to 444 Keys to Wisdom. Um, really quick, for my dreamers, again, my seers, my prophets, my psychics, let's talk about dream symbolization. Okay. And if you like the video, if you know someone else, who's a prophetic dreamer or psychic dreamer, whichever way you want to call it, it's all the same thing. Share the video with them to encourage them to kind of step out into their gifts. All right. What I've learned over the years is most true prophets, most true psychics, they're very humble people, and you never truly know who they are. You don't know that that's what we are. Okay. Until we speak. Okay. So, the planet Saturn is our planet of karma and life lessons. And it's been circulating through Aquarius for quite some time. But at the beginning of the year, it's going to go into Pisces up until like 2026. So, prophets, seers, dreamers we're really being held accountable. Well, this is the beginning. And a lot of us are being asked to step forward and start speaking on the things that we've seen. Because Saturn is going to move into Pisces, and Pisces rules dreams, illusions, psychic dreams, prophecy, otherworldly, visions and things like that. So we really are going to be held accountable. And for those of us that carry this gift, if you do not use it or use it properly, you will certainly receive karma for that. Okay. So, but I want to talk about really quick, symbolization in dreams, because, in the beginning, I've been able to see things since I was a kid. Okay. But as I've gotten older, they get more and more detailed and descriptive. But in the very beginning, when you start out allowing yourself to be who you are, tap into your gifts, a lot of things that you see in your dream state, or sometimes people have open visions. I don't have a lot of open visions. Mine's are during my sleep state. But you may start off getting symbols first. So I'll give you an example, because you have to be careful with that, especially if it's something that you feel is meant to warn someone, even a warning for you. Okay. Or it could be a warning for a group of people, but you don't want to scare people. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to misaccuse anybody for anything. And then there's going to be times where your spirit is just going to know, like, no, I know what fuck I saw, and I know who I saw. You know what I'm saying? Then there's times where you're going to see people, places, and things, but they're symbols. They may not actually be those particular places, or people. So I'll give you an example. Like for me, and everybody's dreams mean different things for different people. So you'll learn that too. Okay. And big shout out to Goddess Queen Just Me 23's channel. I'm grateful for her mentioning Revelations 18:23. For in her lies the blood of prophets and saints and those who have passed on. She had a really powerful message this morning that really was just like, yeah, that's it. And as far as, those of us that have Egyptian bloodline, that's, within her is the blood of pharaohs. Okay. So anyway, so for me, I'll give you an example. When I see, let me think. Okay, like when I see bathrooms, okay, the bathroom is where we cleanse ourselves, where we clean ourselves, where we renew ourselves, we get rid of toxins and things like that, right? So if I see a bathroom, and it depends on who's in the bathroom, okay, I know this person is getting ready to go through a transition where they're going to get rid of toxicity. There's a renewal happening for someone, or even for myself. If I see myself just using the restroom, I know there's something toxic that's leaving my life that I'm going to get rid of, or what have you. I'm renewing myself. I'm cleansing myself of something. And it's usually, spiritually, emotionally, or whatever, mentally, whatever. But on the other hand, for me, And I've had to learn this over the years. Like I had to catch on to certain patterns of things that I see too. For me, if I see a person getting ready to get in the shower, okay, that person dies. Okay. And I've seen quite a few deaths, even in my own family. And a lot of times when you realize what certain things mean to you, you don't want to believe what you're seeing, but it is what it is. I even seen something like seeing funerals and seeing people getting into a shower, and I know, am I knowing what that means? And I've totally tried to deny it because I don't want to believe that this person is getting ready to leave this realm, right? But and then it happens. Now it may not happen right away. You know, I've had some that happened 3 months from when I seen it, and I've had some that happened 15 years after I saw it. Okay. And I had one not too long ago, maybe about a year ago. You know, this person is still here, but I seen somebody else getting in the shower, and it's like, okay, I know what that means. This person's going to transition. I just don't never know when, and I don't want to know when. But so as you can see, this is a heavy mantle. It's a heavy gift to carry. Okay. And of course, there's many dreams you'll never ever be able to speak on. Some you won't be able to speak on right away. You have to wait. And some you will be able to speak on right away. But anyway, back to symbolism. So for me, if I see a person getting in the shower, I know that person's going to transition. What else do I see? Oh, like for example, here's another bathroom example. I had a situation with some ex-in-laws where I had a custody situation that was very unfair. And so after everything was said and done, I saw my ex-husband walking up to me, but he looked like he did when we were younger. And he put one of our sons in my hand. Like he gave him, I was actually in a courtroom and I was sitting on a witness stand. And he walked up to me. He looked like he did when we were in high school, not kind of how he looks now. And he handed me a baby while I was on the witness stand, but the baby was one of my children, okay? The children that we have together. But this child is much older. Like this child doesn't look like that anymore. This is how he looked when he was a baby. So he put my son in my arms. And I was just like, you know, grateful and just thankful that, you know, somebody came to their senses. But off to the side, even though we were in the courtroom, there was a bathroom, okay? And one of his sisters was in this bathroom sitting on a toilet. But it's interesting because the bathroom was decorated just the same way my mother-in-law, which would be her mother, bathroom was always decorated. She always changed her decorations from season to season. Oh, I miss her so much. That was my baby. But so it was like one of her little spring, looked like something she would have had in her bathroom during the springtime. And her daughter was sitting on the toilet, but she had this white canopy or veil covering her entire body, and she was reading the Bible. So that let me know this particular person will probably have mercy. The Creator is going to give this one person mercy or forgiveness for something. She was covered with this white veil. So I just knew that forgiveness was there for this one person. Mercy was there for this one particular person that sought it out. But that's still a way of ridding yourself of toxins. You know, there was a toxic situation or behavior or attitude, and like everything in the bathroom was pink and white. It was just beautiful. So that let me know, no matter what happens, this baby, even though that was not like my son, don't look like that anymore. Like you're going to get a new beginning. And someone's going to be forgiven for something. This particular person right here is going to have forgiveness and mercy over them, okay, for whatever happened. So that's the bathroom for me. Again, cleansing. That's where we get rid of toxins. That's where we wash our bodies and we leave the dirt in the bathroom. We go on. That's where we renew ourselves. So in this particular dream was years ago. I'm talking This had to be about 10 years ago when I saw this, okay? Because again, we can't pay attention to timing. My spiritual community understand time is an illusion, okay? So don't get caught up on, oh my God, when is this going to happen? When is it? You'll drive yourself crazy. When you see things, just let it go, because you don't know the timing of all that. The Creator's not going to give you that. That's not for you to know, okay? So other symbolism, teeth. In a dream, when I see somebody's, like if I have missing teeth in a dream, that means a relationship that's very dear to me is going to be severed. I'm going to be separated from somebody. Or if I see someone else's teeth and their teeth are missing when they're normally not missing, there's a relationship that's going to be removed from them. And a lot of times these are just for you to know, because when the situation arises, you'll know how to respond, because you kind of already know what this is about. You may be able to tell the person, you may not. You have to, that's where your intuition comes in. Your ancestors and the Most High will tell you when to say something and when not. Who to speak to, who, and everybody won't believe you, okay? Some people are not going to believe you, and that's okay. That's not your business. You do what you have to do. You say what you have to say, and you leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you're seeing something means that you're protected as it is, because there's no way human possible we can know certain things. It has to come from a supernatural source, right? So the fact that the Most High is entrusting you with this knowledge to see and hear certain things, you automatically know you're protected as well. Okay, the Most High loves us. The Creator loves us. The Creator's not going to give you, information that could save your life or somebody else's and then not protect you on top of it. Okay, especially you're one of the Most High's prophets. You're a seer, you're a psychic. Of course you're going to be protected. Okay, your ancestors are going to surround you all the time. They already knew what you were coming to the earth to do. Okay, they already knew, again, within her or him are the blood of prophets. They already knew what you were made of, what they brought you here to do. So again, back to symbolism. Have I used dream books before? I have, to kind of help me along with certain things, and it have helped put things together at times. But for the most part, you're going to use your own intuition, and everything doesn't mean the same thing for everybody. Okay, so I'll say that. So as you go ahead and answer to your gift that's within you, you'll learn what means what to you. Okay. Sometimes you may get an interpretation to a dream right away, and sometimes you may not ever get it, but the situation will just happen, then you'll understand it, So anyway, my dreamers, my prophets, my psychics, my seers, we have a heavy responsibility, okay? And like I said, most people, there's many of us walking this earth that most people have no clue who we truly are and what we can do. Because it's heavy, to see certain things. And sometimes it's scary to see certain things and certain people as they truly are. But like I said, many, many videos, it will save your life and somebody else's sometimes. I went up to perfect strangers and said things to them before, and they're like, how the heck did you know that? You know what I'm saying? So it's very real. It is. So I'll give you like an example of symbolism on people, because you have to be careful. You don't want to accuse anybody of doing something that they didn't do, okay? Or somebody being a part of something that they were not a part of. Now, for me, because I've been like this for so long, typically who I see is who I see, and that's what's going on, okay? But I still get symbols, okay? But what it's supposed to do is point more to the relationship. They're trying to point you towards the relationship and not necessarily the person you see, especially if it's something that's not even for you. So I'll give you another example. This is a dream I had about a year ago, and I was never able to say something. So my ancestors are giving me clearance to speak on it now. So for me, in the dream, I'm seeing an uncle of mine, okay? And he's surrounded by all these people. He got on the suit jacket and stuff. I don't know I can't remember who was around him though. But there was people around him, and he was holding 5 white envelopes, like little, just plain like mailing envelopes. And I could see writing on the envelopes, but I couldn't really see clearly what it said. So a hand like came out of nowhere. Okay, like I don't even know what this hand. It just there was a hand that just kind of came out of nowhere, right? And it snatched one of the envelopes from him. And when that envelope was snatched back, I could see the writing on the envelope. The envelope said Beverly's Kids. And he went ham. Like he was pissed. He was so pissed that the people around him had to hold him up and hold him back. And it was crazy. I was like, this nigga is heated. What the fuck? So it was like, what? And so Beverly was my mother. My mother is passed on. Okay. So this is one of her brothers. So when they took that envelope from her, it said Beverly's Kids. So I was like, okay, so maybe, you know, this relative tried to hold on to something that belonged to his sister's kids. And maybe because the sisters passed on, he felt like he could get away with some shit. I don't know. I don't even give a fuck. Okay. But, and my mother had 2 children. One of them is passed on. I'm the last one left. So, and if that wasn't directly for me, it's like, it's letting like collective know. Cause again, there's this theme of inheritances and things like that coming back up for a lot of people. But again, that is Saturn is the reason this is happening. I did a video 2 years ago. I told people this was going to happen. But anyway, you know, stuff that people thought they got away with is going to be, Saturn is going to bring it back up. Okay. Saturn is the planet of disciplinarian. It's the father. It's karma. It's life lessons. Okay. And so those rings around Saturn is like a record. Okay. So all the energy we put out over the years, up to 20, this particular cycle, up to 29 years ago, all the information, all the energy we put out into the atmosphere, those rings collected like a record. Okay. Then when Saturn retrogrades and spins backwards, it outputs everything that was already put in there. Okay. And so it's 29 years of information up there right now that's being spit back out. And then the karma for that, whether you're on the good side of it or the not so good side of it, it's going to last between 12 and 14 years. All right. So anyway, so, you know, if that was for the collective, this is basically saying you have an uncle that took something from a deceased sibling. Okay, that might have been left for one of her kids or both her kids or something like that. But they took it because they felt like they could get away with it because this other sibling is deceased. But again, these are people that don't understand the spirit realm because the deceased are not truly deceased. Okay, energy never dies. It only transforms itself. So I've lost some really like almost people that I consider my world are all past. They're gone. And so I've learned so much about death, and I've learned that physically, no, they're not here, but energetically, they're right there still. They're watching every single thing. That's why I don't go to cemeteries. I don't visit cemeteries because there's no point. They're not in there. They're not in the ground. And I was actually going to go see my mother's grave one time, and I audibly heard her voice say, "Why would you drive that far? Because that's not where I'm at anyway. I'm not even in there. I'm sitting here with you." Blew me away. Blew me. I said, what did I just hear? Did I just hear that right? And then just the whole world opened up about that. You know, when I lost my little brother, he communicates with me all the time. And so I'm like, I used to be afraid of these things. But it got to the point that I couldn't be because these are people that were my world. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stop being afraid of certain things. So I get it. Death is not truly what we think it is, but they're our friends, our loved ones, you know, passed on spouses. They're here. They are here. I'm trying to tell y'all they're here still. Okay. And they see everything. So anyway, so that's, you know, when I saw that, I was like, okay. So if that was directly for me, then okay, whatever. I don't give a fuck because I don't got to go under judgment for nothing like that. Whatever. So, but again, if that was for the collective, it's letting you know, look at them uncles you got. And that's for somebody who has a mother that's not here anymore. You got some uncles that's wicked, okay? And Are you supposed to do anything about it? Sometimes you know, I did a video on what to do if it's really bothering you, you really feel like you should. I gave some professional advice on where you can go to. And if an estate planning attorney can't help you, they actually have people that will. They know who to send you to do the research that's necessary, but it does take time. But sometimes it's just letting you know. Also, it's getting you heads up. So if something happens to someone, you know why it's happening, okay? And they're saying, stay out of it. This person is actually getting karma right now, okay? So sometimes it's just understanding. So that's the symbolization of relationship, okay? There's another one I'm going to share with you about our children. So if you've noticed, there has been an influx of African-American kids coming up missing. Culturally, that just was not our thing, okay? Like, forgive me if I'm just, you know, closed. I don't know. I don't consider myself to be a closed-minded person, but for saying this, but there was a point where, you know, black kids didn't come up missing. But nowadays, a lot of African-American children are coming up missing. And in my city, so many African-American teenagers between the age of 12 and 16 have come up missing, and especially in this past month of May, there's been so many of them coming up missing. It's set off an alarm in our legal system here. Okay, they're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Why are these kids, and they're teenagers of all races, okay, but there are a lot of black kids that's coming up missing, and they're teens. You know, teenagers know how to fight back. Teenagers know how to, you know, and these teenagers are smart. You know what I'm saying? They're very intelligent. These are the new agers, the technological ones. Like, they know how to outsmart. I've seen some of these teenagers that are smarter than some adults I know. Okay. So how is this possible? It's because, you know, the ideal of sacrificing children is not what people think it is, because Hollywood has given us a certain view of what things look like, but that's not true. People can sacrifice their kids in other ways. And so this dream I had let me know that people got to start looking at their parents, especially any absent parents, mother or father, okay? Because people doing some strange things for some change, okay? And even when I woke up out this dream, I was hearing that song by Bone Thugs and Harmony, For the Love of Money. For the love of money. Gotta get that money, man. So anyway, folks is thirsty. I mean, there's no love in this world like it used to be. The love is gone. Love is very rare. And it's sad, because that's what God is. God is love. There is no separation between the two. And you got people in church all day hooping and hollering. I don't know who they hooping and hollering. They doing it out their emotions, but their spirits is dead as fuck, okay? They're just having an emotional reaction to the music and all the crying and all that stuff, but their spirits is dead as fuck, right? But I feel like this dream was saying, you know, we got to start looking at these parents, because these kids are missing because they're going with people, or they're going towards people that they know. And here's the reason. The absent parent a lot of times could be trying to, you know, could take out insurance policies, life insurance policies on these children, and will literally set up for their own child to be kidnapped and murdered. And they collect the money. Scenario 2, they kidnap the child or lure the child or the teenager somewhere else to lure the other parent in. And then they have that parent killed, murdered, or something like that. And they get to cash in on whatever was left over for that child. Okay. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game people be playing, but it's real. People are not giving a fuck. They will sacrifice their own children or the parent of their child. You know, people do that shit all. They've been doing it since the beginning of the time, but an African American community is becoming more and more common. Okay. People. So this dream I had, I was in the city that I live. I was downtown, and I was in this van. It was a white van, like one of them 12-passenger vans. And I was sitting in the very back of the van. I could see like rope and stuff on the floor in the van, but the van door was open, like as if they were waiting for somebody to walk by or something, and so they could snatch them in. But they had the side door open, and there was these 3 guys, dark-skinned black men with white t-shirts on and jeans. And so I looked out the van window and I could see my daughter sitting in a restaurant having a good time at a table with her friends. And the lighting in the restaurant was so beautiful, though. Like, it was a golden. The lighting in that restaurant was different. It was really golden and stuff. It was different. So I'm looking at her out the window. You know, she enjoying herself, kicking it with her friends. So I come from the back of the van, and like the guys had their back. They were just sitting, like they were just waiting. But I came from behind them, and I was able to get out the van and slide out the side door, and I slammed the door shut. But when I slammed the door shut, they got locked in. And it was like they could see me, but I mean, it was like I could see them, but they could not see me. So it was like I wasn't physically there. I was like energetically there, protecting her. I am one of her 5D protectors. Okay. I don't play about my babies. Okay. And so I went into the restaurant where she was, and it was like she was just, you know, talking, hanging with her friends. She didn't even see me. It was like I was there, like energetically. She couldn't even see me. So I'm walking in, and all of a sudden her father walks behind me. And then it immediately clicked in my mind, oh, I don't know these three guys, but you know them. Were you going to have them come get my baby or something? Like, that's what I was saying to myself in a dream. And he was like looking at me, trying to figure out why he couldn't get close to me. And I said, because I have boundaries. And so he looked at me. He was like, oh, you got boundaries, huh? I said, yeah. And so I went towards the left where my daughter was sitting, and he went towards the right, and he left out. So when I woke up, I started hearing that song, For the Love of Money. So here's the symbol behind that. These teenagers that keep coming up missing. I'm telling y'all, check these parents. Check these parents. Check these parents. Check these parents. The level of wickedness in this world, we have to stop acting like we don't see it and call these things for what it is. All right? And like I said, if they're not trying to directly harm their child, they're trying to maybe harm the other parent. Maybe the other parent could be well-to-do or well-off, and they feel like this parent has left quite a bit for this child if something happens to them. And so they feel like if that parent is out the picture, they're going to naturally be able to take the child into their custody, because who else they going to go with? And then they also get to cash in on the benefits that's left for that child. Listen, y'all. I wish a motherfucker would. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, and so, I teach my daughter, when you go places, turn your location off. Don't tell everybody where you at. When you out kicking it, take your pictures, do your videos, but don't post that shit till you get back to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to talk to your kids. You got to show them ways to be safe, and you got to make sure your kids are not in la la land. Just because this is cousin, auntie, boo boo, Ray Ray, and dad, mom, or whoever, grandma, don't put nothing past nobody, okay? Teach your kids to be wise and see humans for who they are sometimes. Everybody ain't bad. Absolutely not. There's certainly people you're going to be able to trust, but there's a whole lot more you'll never be able to trust, okay? And I teach my kids that. So, parents, you don't have to hover over your kids. They got to have a life, but just teach them little things, tell them the truth. Be honest with your kids. I came up in the era where they didn't tell us the truth. They hid a lot from us, but I don't do that. I talk to my kids. So, if that was not directly towards me, which I already know, like I know this motherfucking line, okay. Yeah, that's not going to work out well. But on a collective level, I really hate to say it, but a lot of these kids and especially these teenagers, they're coming up missing because it's the other parent setting the shit up. Okay. They're sacrificing their own kids. They'll do it. They will do it, but like I said, or they may, lure the child in because they're trying to get to the other parent or the other parent's assets. Because these teenagers, you can't tell me they just getting snatched up. They're going with people that they know. All right. So think about that. Human trafficking is not what we all see. It's different forms of trafficking humans. Many, many forms. The type of public health work that I do, I have to constantly stay up on these things and go to these, educational conferences and webinars about human trafficking. And I live in a state where human trafficking is actually #1 because we have so many freeways that go in and out. And they was, I believe NASCAR and the Democratic and Republic national conventions are still #1 for human trafficking and stuff, so listen, just watch yourselves. But that's the point of a prophet, a seer, psychics. They don't have to believe in you at all. Who gives a fuck? But you need to believe in you, because there's no way you can know certain things. And that also lets you know that there is a higher power that exists that's much, much greater than you. And you have to take heed to that. Okay. You have a responsibility. All right. And if you do not be responsible with that mantle that has been placed over your life, you will have karma for that. If not in this lifetime, the next. Okay. So I'm very grateful for Goddess Queen Just Me 23 for that reminder, that scripture, again, that scripture, Revelations 18:24. If you got the blood of the prophets running through your veins, you have a responsibility. You got to do what you got to do, and do it unapologetically. And there is no fear. Fear is the opposite of love. God is love. So fear and God cannot exist in the same vessel. So you have nothing to fear, but you have a responsibility. Okay. And just rest assured, you'll always be taken care of if you do if you are obedient to the mantle that you carry. So I'm going to leave that with you. And again, I'm going to encourage some more psychics, prophets, and seers, dreamers to come forward and say what you got to say. Tell people what you're seeing, okay? Because it could save somebody's life, if not yours.